Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my live letter 31 overview and thoughts. TLDR, new stuff is coming in 3.4, and they told us about it. Most of it's stuff you guys could probably already guess. New Tombstone, new Alexander, new Savage, new Primal. We found out which one that was going to be, the patch title, the patch release date, and a few things that we personally didn't expect, as well as a lot of news that we've gotten in the past week. I'll probably skip over a lot of this stuff since it's actually been in a lot of the videos I've posted this last week. But the first and most important thing is ignore the "2 more dungeons next patch." Yoshi P made himself a meme on the stream where he literally lurked like this for a good 60 seconds behind Takai. So if you get your hands on this image, please tweet at me your best Yoshi memes using that image. You can probably find it on Reddit somewhere. Also, Live Letter 31 begins. We got the title of the patch as well as the release date. Soul Surrender, Final Fantasy XIV patch 3.4 will release on September 27th, 2016. That is, what, a month, I believe? Exactly a month to the day at this point. The story is going to involve Alisei a lot, and if you've completed the Binding Coil of Bahamut, all of it, first, second, and final coil, then there will be some new dialogue with her. If you want that dialogue, you're going to need to go clear the Binding Coil of Bahamut in the next month. It's going to be focused on the Warriors of Darkness, and there looked like there might be a trial involved with that, maybe for the main story. It looked like it, but I'm really believing that that would be more of a 3.5 thing. So, and it's not mentioned for the rest of the live letter either. So take that with a grain of salt. It's only how it looked. And Yoshi P himself says, will we fight the Warriors of Light? We'll see. Some new side quests. The Scholasticate is going to be continued in this patch. Hildebrand is going to be continued in this patch. There were some funny images for that. And Anima Weapons, the next step of those, will be in patch 3.45. A few battle system updates. Big one is action timers will now be reset when restarting battles. So when you're raiding, every time you have a full party wipe, all of your actions are going to be reset. They said that if this is abused in any way, they'll probably remove it. But for now, they're going to put it in and see how it works. Go ahead, use those hallowed grounds, use those living deads, use those raging strikes, because they're going to be back up at the start of the encounter. Just saying, it's actually an important thing to talk about when it comes to Prague. They're also making massive changes to auto attacks. So auto attacks are no longer going to require that you're actually looking at the target. As long as you're in melee range of a target, this is of course talking about melee jobs, then you will automatically auto attack it. So you won't lose any DPS moving around a boss anymore. Kind of strange, but it is what it is. You also will no longer be able to use face target macros or change your face target while moving. This is basically a counter to a big PvP thing that I've seen, where people have mouse macros or ACT macros that constantly make them change face targets so they never lose auto attack, and you could do some really crazy looking stuff with that. That's not going to be possible anymore. You need to be standing still in order to change your face target. For casters, they specifically said that as your casts will follow targets, or you will automatically face target. If I'm understanding that properly, you'll automatically face target if an enemy is moving. You'll automatically face target to their updated position. Now, because of this auto attack change, the only two ways to stop auto attacks now, you can't turn around to stop auto attacks anymore. You need to either sheath your weapon or completely drop target. They specifically use Blighted Bouquet as an example of a mechanic that you would have a hard time dodging nowadays. So keep that in mind. You no longer stop auto attacking by turning around. Very important also for DPS checks if you're trying to hold DPS for anything. They're going to be adding certain trials to the Raid Finder, specifically Extreme Primals. They gave Thornton as an example, but they said certain trials plural, so I'm assuming it's like Nidhogg, Sephiroth, Thornton, just all Extreme Primals. I don't know about the most recent one though, like if our new Primal is going to be added to the Raid Finder or not. Also, they're going to be adding a new UI feature for countdowns. Basically, a giant countdown is going to pop up on the screen. You can set it for up to 30 seconds. And it's previously you needed to make macros, like little chat macros for this, but now it's a full-blown implemented feature that you can utilize more effectively. And you can set it anywhere from 1 to 30 seconds for your countdown. It can even be macroed if you really want. It's going to be really hard to miss on the screen. So the next raid is Alexander the Creator. This is the final tier of Alexander, and there will be a Savage mode. As you can see in this image, that's Super Faust. That's basically Faust's final form. And it's also interesting to note that it looks like you're fighting him on the outside of Alexander. If you go to the hinterlands right now, you see Alexander has like a section on his face, and you can see a rock that's kind of shaped like his head out there. It looks like you're fighting him on that section right on the outside of his face. So I just wanted to point that out because it's interesting. It's going to be odd to be fighting Super Faust in the hinterlands instead of actually inside of Alexander. Just want to point that out. New Extreme Primal is going to be Sophia the Goddess, leaving just the demon in next patch to be the final of the Warring Triad we'll have to take down. She is in Containment Bay P1T6, and of course there will be an extreme mode of that. They said that they did a lot of work on the visuals for this fight, so they hope that we really enjoy the visuals. The two new dungeons for this patch will be Zelfatol, which is the Ixal main base that lies between Korthus and the Black Shroud, and the Great Gabal Library Hard. So we're no longer grabbing hard modes from A Realm Reborn, because I thought it was going to be Snowcloak this patch. It is the Great Gabal Library Hard. It's probably likely that we're going to see both the level 60 dungeons, or at least one of the level 60 dungeons, receive a hard mode in the next patch. If I had to guess one, it would probably be Never Reap, more likely over Fractal Continuum, but there's no telling now. Great Cabal Library Hard. Also for PvP, I've gone over these updates in a lot of recent videos. They're adding dueling, which can be done in a new section of the Wolves Den map. It's not instant, so you can queue up for things in the Duty Finder while you're doing it. 2 light parties can actually come together to make custom matches nowadays, and there's no role restrictions for that. And they're adding a spectator mode where up to 8 people can spectate a single match. You're able to view the match from multiple camera angles by following players, and I personally am looking forward to that a lot as someone who's on the Twitch side of things. Tokyo Game Show, they're going to do a live demonstration of the spectator mode. Deep Dungeon Palace of the Dead, this is another thing that I reported on earlier in the week. Floors 51 through 200 will be added in patch 3.45, as well as the job-specific ranking leaderboards for people who want to solo Palace of the Dead is in 3.45. Now, floors 51 to 100 are about the same difficulty as floors 1 to 50, but floors 101 to 200 will be made significantly more difficult. It is strictly for the challenge and for those leaderboards. Also, keep in mind that the scenario for Palace of the Dead, the story there, ends on the 100th floor. Grand Company updates, we are going to be getting platoons and a new Grand Company rank. So platoons look to, for the most part, be another iteration of the retainer system, where you're able to send them out on missions and they come back stronger. The big difference with the platoons is that you're supposed to be able to, and they did mention this in the live stream itself, make a party with you plus 3 platoon members of your Grand Company, and then with that party, you can go into things like dungeons or low-level trials. We don't know what the restrictions are on that just yet, but it is something to keep in mind that you're supposed to, if they follow their original plans, go into dungeons with these platoon mates. It's not just another Garrison remake, although basically retainers are kind of like exactly what garrisons were, in a sense. And this is kind of another step up from that, where it's quite, even the user interface greatly reminds me of garrisons. You can even see the EXP they get for going out, the rewards they can get for going out into the world. So we'll see exactly how it pans out, but I'm hoping we can actually use those platoon mates to go into dungeons together. Some other new features that are coming. Wondrous Tales is a new feature that's coming. A small Makote girl wants to create something, so she hires an adventurer to help her. They show us a book, which you can see on the official forum thread right here. I'm going to be including this document in the description of the video, of course. You can go here and you can get all the pictures that I'm probably missing in this document. And it shows like a nutkin, and it shows a map with a bunch of, or it shows a book with a bunch of locations, and it looks like a bingo board and tombstones and Allegan pieces as rewards. And it's not exactly clear. They said we'll learn more about it in the future. Triple Triad is getting an instanced battle hall per data center. So if you want to challenge anybody in your entire data center to Triple Triad, you can now do that. A Primal tournament, an Ether tournament, however you want to do it. You can also Triple Triad against, well, anyone in your data center. I was going to say that already. Lords of Verminion is being added to the Duty Finder because we needed that, clearly. And players will be able to purchase multiple Jumbo Cacpot tickets, up to 3 tickets per week. So you can lose 3 times per week now in the Jumbo Cacpot. Yay! Housing updates. Apartments are going to be added, and they're going to be added to multiple areas. Now, last time I reported on apartments, I told you that they were 512 apartments per building, but we didn't know how many buildings we were getting. I don't see Ishgard on the list here, even though that was like the entire thing that they were telling us about. So it looks like Limsa, Lominsa, Gridania, and Ul'dah are each getting an apartment building. There's shared space within the apartment so that while you're like leaving your apartment, you could run into people in the hall and be like, hey man, hey neighbor, what's going on over there? So it's almost like the entire housing area condensed into a single building. Again, if they follow true to what they said in recent interviews, this was not explicitly said in the live letter. 512 apartments per building, 3 buildings means 1,536 new apartments per server. What we didn't hear is if you can't own an apartment, if you own a house. I'm assuming if you own a house, you can't own an apartment, but that was never explicitly said anywhere. Just that they're 500K each, so they're a lot more affordable than houses were. They also said there won't be gardening for these, but they said there was something else that was available for apartments that would otherwise only be available to the houses. They're also adding aquariums where you can take multiple size aquariums and you can stick fish inside of them that have multiple sizes. Depending on the size of the fish, depends on how many fish you can actually put into the aquarium itself. They're going to be adding playlists to the Orchestrion. A shuffle and a repeat command will also be made available. They're going to show off some new furniture. They showed some Calcabrina dolls that were sitting on a shelf, and it's not a display for minions. They clarified it is not a display for minions, but they're adding basically shelves and things that you can put on those shelves, like dolls you can put on display, or things that look like current minions that you can put on display. The double cross hotbar feature was something they revisited in this live letter, something they haven't spoken about for quite some time. And it's basically going to be adding anywhere from like 8 to 16 more buttons on average per user of this double hotbar feature. Basically all it is if you're a cross hotbar feature, you know what it's like to use the extended hotbar where you hold left trigger and then you hold right and then you tap right trigger and it gives you more options. This one's double tapping the same trigger. So if I double tap right trigger, it gives me a few more options for me to choose between. If I double tap left trigger, I get a few more options there. So essentially you can add anywhere from 8 to 16 more buttons by double tapping either right trigger or left trigger. A lot more button availability, and for some people it might even be easier. You're able to greatly customize the cross hotbar with this. You're able to move around the double cross hotbar feature. You're able to change the transparency of the parts of the cross hotbar you're not using. You're able to determine the keybinds, which cross hotbar that is being used when you use the double cross hotbar. It's got a lot of really good customizability, and I assume that once players become more much more familiarized with it, it will be a really good feature for them, especially people looking to expand the amount of buttons they have available to them, whether it be for emotes or macros or whatever the heck you're doing with those. Another thing is exploratory missions. Again, we've touched on this in the last week or so. Diadem is getting some minor updates in 3.4. They're adding item level 235 gear to it. They're adjusting the rate at which spoils can be exchanged for, and they're adding a Disciples of Land availability to the Diadem queue, so you can queue in as a Disciple of Land. They're adding a new exploratory zone in 3.5, as well as initiating updates to the original Diadem. They aimed that for 3.4, but we said this in a recent interview. It would have pushed the patch back, so they just said let's hold it off for 3.5 entirely. And then here's some more standard stuff. New Allegan Tomestones. The translated name was Scriptures, Tomestones of Scriptures, because that couldn't be confusing with red scripts and blue scripts. With that, lore is going to be uncapped. Esoterics are going to be transferred into lore. They showed off some new Tomestone gear. Looked alright. It's very Shirlane themed, so if you're into some of the Shirlane armor you've seen, you'll probably enjoy it. They showed off some new crafter recipes as well, and don't forget, they are adding weapons to the list of craftable items this patch. So we're expecting armor and accessories to be item level 250 from new crafted recipes. We're expecting an I-250 weapon as well. Online status for role-playing will be added, so if you're somebody who likes to role-play, you have an online status to let people know that's what you're doing now. And they're adding the ability for players to use dashes in their name. You can use apostrophes already, but now you're going to be able to use dashes as well. A few other announcements. The Rising event begins August 27th at 1 a.m. PDT. I'm recording this at 11:16 p.m. PDT, so it's at less than 2 hours from when I'm recording it. Probably going to be like less than an hour by the time this video is even live. They're going to be adding new veteran rewards for 1440 days, but they don't know what they are yet. So They just said to be determined. They showed a new Odin statuette that's going to be available for sale starting at Fan Festival, North American Fan Festival. Attendees will be able to pre-order it. Then they'll allow further pre-orders after North American Fan Festival for non-attendees, and then it will go on full sale mid-December. Plus, it'll be available to everyone, so that's all that will matter. It also gives an in-game reward, the Zantetsuken emote, and its price is looking to be somewhere in the range of $100 to $130, but has not been fully determined yet. They showed off the Final Fantasy XIV magazine, which is going to be releasing soon. They showed off a karaoke room in the Karaoke Pasela in Akihabara. They also showed off some of what's going to be at Tokyo Game Show next month. It's the 16th through the 18th at Tokyo Game Show, and they're going to have official cosplay gatherings. They're going to have 8v8 feasts. They're going to have a battle challenge with a shirt. They're going to have something called the Allegan Control Panel, probably just a little mini game for people to play. A beginner section for people to learn. They're going to be giving away Fat Chocobo fans like this, not like I'm a fan of Fat Chocobos, you know. They're going to have a Feast School Showdown on Friday. They're going to have the live letter, patch 3.4 preview part 2, where we're expecting a lot more gameplay, and a trailer. That's going to be on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. JST. That's 9:30 p.m. PDT, 12:30 a.m. EST. So basically 30 minutes later than this one started last night. They're going to have an Eorzea extra class thing, and then they're going to have some other thing on Sunday. I couldn't even keep up with it. At Tokyo Game Show, they're going to be selling Final Fantasy XIV themed hand towels, rice bowls, teacups, chopsticks, and the Moogle slippers that they showed off in the last live letter. Also, I'm sure some of you are seeing this and going, what the hell is that? So they gave us reminders of all the fan festival dates. They've revealed the JP prices and some of the different packages they have, as well as a reminder of the digital rewards. For those who don't remember, for the North American, European, and Japanese fan festivals, there's 3 different Final Fantasy X themed minions. One's Lulu, one's Yuna, one's Riku. If you attend the event, or if you watch it digitally online, then you'll get a code for these minions and you can get them in game. Another thing that it comes with is your choice of one of 2 armors that are also Final Fantasy X themed. The Abe's attire, aka Tidus's outfit, and the High Summoner attire, aka Yuna's outfit. You'll only get one of these per fan festival live stream, either attended live or watched digitally online. So you'll need to go to or watch online a minimum of 2 in order to get both outfits. They are account-wide outfits though, so don't worry about them being character specific. Other than that, that was it for the live letter 31. Pretty basic stuff here, standard for what we get from a patch 3.4 part 1. We know that we now have exactly 4 weeks until the next patch, where the next raid tier will begin. If you need more information on sort of the difficulty of Alexander, I put out a lot of recent videos. Also, do not forget that 5 weeks approximately after this will be patch 3.45, which will have the remainder of the Palace of the Dead. We'll have new animal weapon quests, and also don't forget a few other things. We're getting a new feast map in this patch as well, and season 2 will also end in 3.45. So we're looking to a lot of little things being added up into one whole big patch. We can expect a lot of story in this patch, and a lot of little systems for us to enjoy. Hopefully the final tier of Alexander will do significantly better. I already like the 2 images that they showed. I'm hoping to see more like it, because that Super Faust looks really, really cool. But anyway, guys, that's going to be a wrap. Let me know what you thought of the live letter 31 from the 14-hour broadcast. Hopefully I'll have more information for you tomorrow from any other little tidbits that come out of the 14-hour broadcast. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for more information about Final Fantasy XIV, as well as all the other things that are going on my channel. Be sure to check those out as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, take care.